illustrious leader failed at getting minutes from the last meeting. I thought we were taped and I was going to watch it, but it wasn't there, so it's mea culpa. So let's go right to, no school rep today. Tim, anything from you guys?
No, I think just an update from the last time we spoke. Our staffing has gone up. Thank you to Sherry for swearing 2 new officers in yesterday. That puts us at 61 sworn, which is the highest we've been since Chief Bill Hart left. So 60, as most of you guys know, we formerly had a 68 end strength. We're sitting at 67 today, but we're at 61. I think our goal would be to press to 65. Of course, I think as you guys all know, and I think I've briefed before, we wouldn't fill to the 67 because our budget lines aren't exactly there. So we couldn't. I can't go full staff. I couldn't buy bullets. I couldn't put the lights on the building. So yeah, I couldn't. I could put gas in the cruisers. But if we can get to 65, that'd be good for us.
What about the tasers?
Tasers, those are coming. So
That's exciting.
November, I'd expect those.
Thank you, by the way.
We currently this week, if you guys see any signs, training signs at the high school, we're putting all our staff through active shooter training. We train our guys quarterly with some type of firearms discipline. So, for example, sometimes we'll shoot in July. This year we switched, so we're doing simunition training. It's like a little soap type bullet, force on force. We have some student actors that are great. So we have a couple.
Goodness, they had me do it last time. It was awful.
So. We have a bunch of live scenarios going on, so we're putting our staff through that over the next 2 weeks. So you'll probably see some of that. We're also starting interviews for our prosecution candidate. As I think we've briefed before, it was our intent to add a second prosecutor. So as of July 1, that went live. I would expect him or her to probably begin in August, maybe September, depending if we can get a good candidate.
Do you have a lot of candidates or?
No.
No.
Are you looking for an experienced prosecutor? Or?
No, but we are also
looking for a job?
Yeah, we're looking for a member of the bar, so it does limit, obviously. So it does limit it. So I think we've advertised through just regular police channels and then the New Hampshire Bar Association. We do have one of the candidates we have is very interesting. She actually interned with our per diem prosecutor in the past, so she comes like highly recommended. So although we don't have a ton of candidates, we are excited about the ones we have. There's been a lot of talk about COSAP grants and COSAP funding. You hear this at the meetings. I just want to explain what that is. We run this COSAP position. It has to do with substance abuse, domestic violence. So we currently have a detective assigned to take these types of cases and follow up. So if we go to an incident and we believe that it could be drugs, alcohol, some of those things that are underlying and some of the cause, we like to connect those people with resources and different services to obviously prevent it from happening again. That's been double duty by our detective sergeant now to do the adequate follow-up. Well, we found out that there was a funding source for that position, so we'll actually be able to assign a detective to that full-time. They'll still take other cases, but their primary caseload will be to take care of those follow-ups and get those people to the right folks. The grant was originally going to be a year, and we actually found it, and we got it funded for 4 years.
Oh,
So it's a win for us, because it'll actually bring back the 68th spot on our roster, and it allows us to get another detective in there that can work mostly COSAP cases, but could take some other cases such as frauds or call-out type cases. So we're excited about that. And then in the same talk of grants, our dispatch center is pretty much done. We did I think most of you guys know we did an entire renovation of our dispatch center. A majority of it was funded via ARPA funds, and then grant funding from our congressional reps. In this particular case, it was Representative. Who was this one? I don't think it was Senator Hassan's office. I want to say it was Congressman Pappas's office that funded this one through his office. So big win for us. I'd love to take you guys through if it's something you guys are interested in seeing. So maybe next time we schedule a meeting, we'll take some time to take a walk over there.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's really well done.
There are a lot of nice lights in there.
Yeah.
Really?
But,
A lot of nice lighting.
It's moved more from a dispatch center to it's a communication center, but it also can run as like an operations center. So it's really well
That's
done.
great.
We're very proud of it, and we have a lot of hardworking dispatchers over there. So
Kim
Yes,
showed
sir.
pictures of it during one of the town council
Yeah.
meetings.
yeah. So
Looked
again,
pretty
it's,
slick.
maybe one of the meetings we'll take some time and just take a walk over. I think I'd love to share it with you
that
guys.
would be
yeah.
nice. It did look slick.
I do tell those guys because a lot of us work in town. I'm like, they're right now. I'm telling them we're gonna take care of it because I'm like, you guys are literally working in the nicest workspace in town.
The newest.
So, the newest and greatest, nicest workspace in
There you
town.
go.
It's nice.
So the rest of us can be jealous of that they have, but it's well deserved and they do important work.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's all I have for an update.
Okay. I guess either before or after Old Home Day, I think it'd be good to walk the ground at the middle school with Alona and you
Yeah.
to,
Like we did last year.
yeah, to, particularly since I think we wanna move to a cluster format. We're gonna use more of the school.
Sure.
So we'll know what, and we still got the guy that's gonna do the, driver
AARP,
training
yep.
in the library, right? So,
Smart tech.
see how that works out.
Yeah, I can get with Lona, we can sort that out, I can reach out to the school, I'm sure they'll welcome us through, so, enough, nothing, I can just.
Yeah, and especially since they're closed now.
Yeah.
Yeah, last time, I think it was right when school started.
Yeah.
So let's try
So
to get
we
in
do
before,
beforehand,
yeah.
I got a key.
I will, the
Yeah,
senior center's
check
open till
in
2, but I can usually get away, but I'll meet you after if necessary.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And anybody would be welcome to join if anybody wants to see it.
Nice, I wouldn't mind going, just to kind of get a visual
Sense.
before we get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, cause there's some, I wanted to put like all the town people, the town tables in a certain
Very
location,
nice.
because if we put it in the hallway, it's gonna turn into a,
An old home day.
well, it's gonna turn into,
A bottleneck.
Cluster.
a bottleneck, thank you, that's what I was looking for. So we should probably put them
And a
in either
different
the
word.
cafeteria or the gym.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited for the gym, I think that's really gonna help us out, so.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I've got a little checklist on that we'll go over with the, for Old Home Day. Phil,
So the fire department, we're nipping on the heels of the PD. We should have 61 full members by September. We're currently hiring the 4 that we got through the Warren article. They're in the process right now. It puts us almost at full staffing. We're like 1 position away. So we're working on that. We just hired 2 new dispatchers. To your dispatch point, our dispatch room is not as nice and flashy as theirs, but ours is pretty new. And so we have 2 new dispatchers, 1 starting tomorrow, 1 just started. And we're hoping through dispatch contracts with other communities, and there's been a few that have reached out that wanna start us to dispatch for them. We dispatch for Pelham and Hampstead right now. There are some other communities that are looking to add us, so, you know, if we can add the appropriate staffing to do it, we would be more than willing to.
That's revenue for the town, by the way.
Yeah.
Those are all contracted services.
Yeah.
And the town takes in revenue for those efforts.
So that's, we're doing that. We're working on building our ALS fly car, cause when we staffed at 13, which for us is an odd number because our members operate in teams, so an individual doesn't really work unless we do something like this where we put a paramedic in a vehicle that can respond appropriately around town and can easily break away from something they're not needed at to go somewhere else. So we're working on building a vehicle for that, so once we have these new members on and started, the last of the current 4 will finish the fire academy in the end of October. So really the beginning of the year is when we're looking to get this car implemented, and kind of go from there. Otherwise, we're trying not to die of heat exhaustion.
right?
I can't imagine.
I may need to see if I can draw on you for some help
Sure.
when we're setting up for Old Home Day.
Yeah.
And taking down, cause I ain't as good as I used to be. And I couldn't do it before.
Yeah.
So,
Well, our guys will be there throughout the whole weekend.
We'll have folks around as well,
Yeah.
so.
okay, we'll coordinate with you, but
Like I think
thank you, yeah.
I think we're Dave Wally is out of town this year, so for bingo, I think you've requested our presence to assist. Did he get back to you on that?
I actually, let me plead ignorance here. I was sent, so everybody wanted an Outlook invite to the time between 4 and 5 o'clock. I'm actually asking, Chief Bernard, Chief Butler, and then 3 town,
That's perfect. Him and I
town-
are very
yes.
appreciative of that.
yeah, but I want you
Yes.
there just in case.
Bo is
Yes,
also
yes,
yes.
pencil them in.
But they each call 1 game, cause it's really hard to, calling bingo is very boring. sorry.
I promise you
but-
that Kim and Bo will make it fun.
And yeah, so I wanna do that, and I think the town would be, the people there would be excited about it.
Tim and I will be there to play bingo.
I have over $700 worth of prizes so far.
All right, give me a letter.
From businesses, so they're gonna get real stuff, like good stuff this time.
Yay.
So, yeah, I'm hoping they'll do that.
So that's all I got.
Good,
Fire
thanks, good.
department. Oh, I actually do have one more thing, sorry. We added an AED, we donated an AED and an AED box to the soccer fields because
Oh,
of that
good.
incident that happened,
Oh.
last September at
On
West
Wo-
Road.
On West Road, yeah.
So the fire department said we will buy, we take care of the AEDs anyways. So the AED is not really, we donated the box, we bought the box, we donated, the soccer club's gonna have it mounted and put up. So there will be 2 down at 90 West Road, which is the long entrance into the soccer fields. There'll be one at the concession stand and one up on the garage by field 3. So there will be 2 within a looping 350-foot radius of each other, that if somebody is to call 911, they'll know that there are 2 AEDs in the property. So we delivered the box today, so the soccer club can set that up.
Yay.
So I'll be able to be defibrillated?
No, I'm gonna do manual CPR,
Uh-huh.
because I'm just,
He's that good.
don't you have a defibrillator? No, we just need to swipe it. Sorry, Kevin.
Don't they have one like this, you put your thumbs on it?
Erin?
Hello. We are very busy with summer reading. We've been having a lot of people come in. Our programs have been really successful. And we have, this Saturday, we're doing, so we've been showing up once a month. We're gonna be once a month at a concert on the Common, just to have a table and kind of connect with people. But this Saturday, we're having our own concert on the Common. It's a kids' concert, so everybody's welcome to come and kind of testing it out. I believe, I think it's
I have it on my calendar at work.
1:30. 1 o'clock, 1:30, I think it was. It's on our calendar, and I didn't bring our calendar with me. But that's supposed to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a lot of fun. There'll be giveaways, just like Concert on the Common does, and we'll have a couple of food trucks. So it'll be, hopefully the weather will stay, not rain, and it'll
Supposed to
cool
be
off.
nice.
Cool off.
Supposed to be nice.
Yeah. So so that's exciting. That's something new that we're doing this year that we haven't done before. So we're excited about that. We will be at Old Home Day, so we'll have a booth and we'll be marching in the parade, so we're excited about that. And I think that's it. We don't have any new staff.
How's Gmail?
Funny. Gmilks is going great. We are set to launch and kind of merge with them mid-October, so that's coming up quickly. We're still working on inventorying all of our items. So for every item in the library that's in our catalog, we have to re-barcode. So we've been working on that for some months now, and we're about over 40% done, but we have plans to speed up the process. So that's going along, but yeah, we're ready. We're excited to launch. They said everything looks good to kind of move all the data. Everything has to be moved from one catalog to another, which is a lot. And then some other things have to happen too, but it'll be great. There's a lot of good stuff coming, so.
Did you recover all your inventory from your flood?
So the flood is all cleaned up. Our inventory, we lost over 1,600 books to water damage. I finally was able to get rid of them because insurance wanted me to hold on to them.
Oh,
I finally was able to get rid of them a
stinky.
couple weeks ago. Yeah, took up our whole study room fee. But we're working on, so we have to go through the list right now of all the items, all the 1,600 items, to see what we can replace right away. And we can get from our vendors, which a lot of them have come across out of print or not available at all. So we have to find other vendors, and if not, we can replace them, I was told, with a similar item. So if it's a book about, Bobby Flay's barbecue, we can maybe get just a barbecue book. So we're figuring that all out now, but we have 2 years to replace all the items. So, yeah, that's a lot of work,
helpful,
but.
2 years.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and my staff's been we're all working on it. Well, all the department heads are working on it, so.
Why are they requiring you to replace it with similar items?
It's because of, I guess, well, I don't know, I'm not 100% sure if it's a requirement, but, we are gonna try to do that because most of our collection in that area was lost. And it's quite a variety. I would say majority of it might be cookbooks. But there are some other books that were in that collection that kind of just got the splatter of the water and yeah. So
Just curious.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but they've been really great. Primex has been really great working with them on trying to get this all sorted because it's just
Yeah.
a lot of back and forth and
Unexpected
paperwork.
work.
Yes,
Oh.
another thing to add to the plate. But yeah, so we've been really busy and just prepping for some exciting stuff. We're excited to hopefully collaborate. We met with the superintendent, Mr. Black. John and I met with him last week, and we're hoping to do some more collaborations with them, the schools, and connect more with them. So yeah, a lot of good stuff. Very busy.
Alona?
Okay, quickly, just things going on at the senior center, because we have a lot of others, like the senior picnic to talk about.
Mhm.
I've met with, Tara and Mike 2 weeks ago, and ABLE is an organization that, does job placement for folks over 55 who need to get back into the workforce, and it's all, federally funded. So I'm gonna try to get at least a 20-hour person to work our front desk, because our front desk has been it's been going through attrition because people have had surgery, they broke their ankles, we've had some people who wanna take some time off from there. I've trained about three or four new people at the front desk, but they're only doing like 3-hour shifts. So it helps that they're plugging themselves in, and it's finally come to the point where I can leave them alone and do some other work. And they're wonderful people, they're wonderful to work with, so I'm happy that they've stepped up. We had a volunteer luncheon at the Coach Stop last Saturday, with about 30 folks. It
That
was
was nice.
delicious. Delicious, a lot of awards given out, good times. We decided last year not to do the volunteer luncheon at the senior center because the people serving it would be the volunteers. So we decided to say pretty much this,
That was very
Makes sense.
smart.
we pretty much decided to take, I
Make
know
it
what
feel
Kathy
special.
Blash used to pay on these, and a lot of her stuff had to do with decor, decoration and stuff. So I put that money into food instead. And Coach Stop doesn't charge you for using the room.
Right.
They just have, they have
Yeah,
a
they're very
buffet
good
plan.
They do a
too.
good job.
And we
yeah.
paid the same amount this year as last year, so they haven't gone up.
Wow,
And they've
very
also
nice.
given us, as a segue into the senior picnic, they're one of probably a dozen businesses locally who have already given us gift cards for the senior picnic.
Oh, that's great.
I have over $700 worth of gift cards. Cheerston and Doug got Hannaford to donate all their food, our food, for the picnic in exchange for I don't know the levels of platinum, whatever
Oh, yeah,
sponsorship
platinum.
is,
Yep.
the $1,000
Yeah.
sponsorship, which is a great coup. Little disappointed because the ice cream truck we had, he's out of business.
Oh, we
But
could
I
do
saw this
coffee.
thing on Chronicle. What some of the police departments, I think it was Barnstead, actually had an ice cream truck.
So I've heard about the Barnstead chief on some type of ice
They
cream. truck.
own an ice cream truck,
Yeah.
and they
Really?
give candy out, ice cream out to the neighborhood kid. They drive around.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying you should buy an ice cream truck. But
I'm saying that.
Last year you
But-
got something, dog?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying we're gonna approve ice cream.
But when I used to go to the beach in Wildwood, New Jersey as a
Yeah.
little one,
Yeah.
the guys would wash through the sand in their white outfits
Yeah.
and have this cooler around their neck, and they'd be giving out
I
all
feel
these.
like this thing may be like
sell.
a bicycle
They
that he rides,
sell-
and it's like
Dude, that's
something.
And
nice.
they'd sell it,
Yeah.
they'd sell it there, but
Good
yeah.
job.
Jump
Cars
feet
or-
first with the comfort
I
dog,
love
why not
that.
do it
Like-
with the ice cream
You
truck?
know, Deputy Chief Breen told me about this, so I might follow up with him. on
They
this.
have an ice cream truck at the concert on the common.
You can make
once a
that.
year.
They do,
There's
yeah.
always
Yeah.
one.
Oh, yeah?
That's Sean's second
Yeah.
job.
I would
Good job.
actually,
I
you
need-
should
I-
contact Donna, cause we have a couple of ice cream trucks that we've reached out to.
And
for
I
some-
know of another ice cream truck, I just learned today at Enterprise Bank, they are going to have an ice cream day.
Excuse me.
So
Well, I
there
could bring
has to
my
be-
old truck and put ice cream in the back
So
of
there
it.
has to be an,
Can't tell.
ice cream truck
Truck
around
around
at Enterprise.
somewhere.
I'm wondering what Cheerston's already,
Phil,
booked
you were
for.
there
That's
and
a
I
good-
was
yeah,
there
I
and
wanna
you bought
reach
your
out to her,
children
so
ice
that-
cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Concert on Commons.
Yeah.
So who was it? Do you remember?
I don't remember,
It's an
but
ice
they're
cream
there every
truck.
night, they're
They're
there every
there
Wednesday.
They'll be
so-
there
Yeah, yeah,
tomorrow
they're-
night.
Yeah, we could,
They'll be there tomorrow.
we actually have a meeting Thursday night for Old Home Day,
We do.
so.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll ask them. Great. But the thing is, people, I've actually given out 130 tickets already. We started giving them out yesterday. And I'm doing 220 because we have a 15 to 20% no-show rate. The last 2 years, we've had between 170 and 180 people, and I'd like to have the 200.
Right.
So they were real excited. They talked about the ice cream still, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I also did watermelon last year, but nobody ate it because we had the ice cream, and it was a lot of trouble to cut and keep cold. So we're not gonna do watermelon. So they're like, are you gonna do the Hoodsy cups? I'm like, maybe. So I'd like to work out something with ice cream.
Yeah.
And police volunteers. I don't know how many are planning on coming. I don't think we need more than eight-ish, something like that. We don't need 15 police folks, police men,
Officers.
police officers, police
Officers.
people. Thank you. Because I feel like a lot of people were just standing around, because they served so fast. They each got tables assigned and they were done. And I have
I
at least.
apologize for too many volunteers.
Well, it was nice.
We did that last year, too.
But I felt bad because I was always trying, they were like coming to me for stuff to do and I
No,
was.
so what happened last year is we'd asked the on-duty shift as well to come down.
Yeah, and our on-duty
Oh,
shift
okay.
came
Yeah.
down too.
And you guys were everywhere and I'm like,
Yeah.
what do I give them to do?
And it just so happened that the on-duty shift included 2 officers on FTO, so you had an FTO officer with their field trainer, so, that's 2 cars, essentially with 4 people, so the numbers just swelled naturally.
Did you
because of the
feed
shift.
them?
God, yeah, I think.
Well, no wonder they
were
won't
welcome.
come.
Yeah, so there was plenty of food left over. We
I
actually,
apologize for too many volunteers.
Yeah, right.
we actually, we donated the rest of the food back to the Lions, whatever the tent was on Saturday. That we let them
Right.
keep the hot dogs
Which
or
was
hamburgers,
nice.
whatever we had left. But, and I have about 6 to 10 civilian volunteers already. So I just felt, I don't hate to say this because we need volunteers. I felt overwhelmed with the people that were trying to help. I just, it was a lot. So if
What
I,
a compliment that is to our town.
right?
Right, isn't
Seriously.
that?
What a
So,
compliment.
I'll tell the
It's-
duty crews
yeah.
and girls to stay home that
Right.
night.
Yeah.
Who's gonna stay home?
I said, I'll tell the duty crew to stay home that night.
So now I feel guilty for saying
No,
that.
it's all right,
Okay.
we'll be there.
So-
You're not allowed to come.
Yeah.
So everything, and the other thing I'd really like to consider is if the weather's like this, I really wanna do it at a school. And I wanna talk about that with them on Thursday too. Cause I don't think people should be sitting under a tent even at 90 degrees with humidity. It was pretty dank last year. And I know it's more of a spirit with the whole tent, but other people have said when you've had it indoors, we felt more comfortable. And then they had a concert indoors too, but this is over the years, she's been coming for like 15 or 20 years. So I think that should be I'm not saying it should happen, I'm just saying it should be
A
considered,
plan B.
not just if it's raining, but if it's super hot like this.
Like tonight.
Like tonight, exactly.
Like tonight, that's true.
Well, how many
So-
do you expect?
200.
Yeah.
200.
We'll have a detail, somebody detailed.
And I understand,
Just in general.
I understand they're gonna be using the golf carts to transport people from parking, because they can't park at the church next door. So you'd be using we're gonna have like 6 golf carts for the Old Home Day.
Yes, I don't know if they'll be available for this particular event here. That's
Mention it
that'll
on
be-
Thursday
That'll be,
night.
Okay.
that's something we'll have to deconflict with Cheers.
Yeah.
Because also, the lines in the church parking there is gonna be designated as handicap and disability parking.
I mean,
Oh.
if Wally could get the Steve
Yeah.
Cotton Memorial
That's
bus up and
true.
running, that would be another way to bring people.
Okay.
But this is really important, we'll talk about this on Thursday,
Yeah.
let's
Okay,
circle back.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's coming around, the expo, Abel, I talked about picnic, volunteer luncheon, we're gonna talk more about the expo, I guess. Do you wanna roll into that, or,
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think that's all, I could say more about the senior center, but I think we need to focus on those things.
Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna hand out my cheat sheet.
I think did you update it from what you sent out? The checklist?
Same one.
Okay, then I don't need a copy.
Is that the checklist we wrote last week?
Yeah, no, this is the one for Old Home Day. I haven't finished the one for
Oh,
the
senior-
expo yet.
Okay.
Yeah, bro, that's all right, I printed it before I came.
Okay. So for Old Home Day, we booked the room
Jim,
Oh, I
which one?
Isn't it?
Oh, we got it.
Yeah.
So we have our room.
Just saw this hand come at me. And arranged for handout items. I'm thinking about,
I have to
For-
make
for the-
expo flyers.
yeah, the expo flyers. File of Life, do we still have?
So I was gonna ask you, what do you
I-
have in
I have a
stock?
lot.
You have
I
a
have a
lot?
lot,
Okay.
I'm
Um,
good.
Oh, you do, okay.
And I have some at the fire station too, so I think between the two, we probably don't need to order any this year.
No, I think.
Or
I
if
think
after Old Home Day, we find that we need more for the expo,
I probably have a dozen packets like this.
yeah.
Like maybe, I think we
I
did.
think they're labeled and how many are in there.
25, I think.
I think I rubber banded them in 25s, and I have at least a dozen.
Okay, so if we find after the Old Home Day that we need to order more for the expo, we can certainly do that.
Okay. And I thought the a copy of that one-page home fit guide checklist that I'll,
Do you have copies of that?
I can print them out because I've got the guide electronically. A copy of the Senior Expo flyer to give people,
Yeah, I'll do
and I
that.
thought the Senior Center newsletter.
I'm kinda, cause it's already, July, August is already published, I might grab some and just hide them, just so we can use them for that.
Oh, okay,
Because we've been handing out quite a bit of them.
all right. And I showed you,
What
but,
about, I'm sorry, what about a membership packet? We have little packets like
nice.
envelopes. We could do that if people want a membership packet. It's
Oh.
only three
Sure.
pieces of paper, it's the application, and it talks about the price of the programs, and then a description of all the
Nice.
programs.
oh, great,
More
I could do
information,
maybe a
the
couple
better.
dozen of those, and
yeah, I got, think about 100 of these. And you can't get them because they're, and I thought we could hand out, that there are various motivational,
Oh.
are they all different?
well, not all, but
'Cause
maybe
you gave
eight,
me one.
eight different ones. Sorry for throwing these at you.
I had stuff in the wrong one.
Oh, boy, these are nice.
Stop.
That, come back to me.
So, if they come to our booth, they get a little bit of motivation.
I
All
love
right.
that.
I have one already. You gave me one.
And I, let them pick out which one they want. I've got
Got this thing.
2 fairly large packages of that.
Hey, you know why?
And I thought that might encourage people to come to the booth, because
Everyone likes handouts. Free.
it was something,
No candy though, we found that out last year. Melted right in the
So
bowl.
embarrassing.
She wins the.
Black mark for me.
yes.
We
So-
get ice cream.
Oh, well.
Now, I think does Debbie have the tent?
Well, she did last year, but
Yeah.
let's double check for sure.
Okay, because,
I don't know where that stuff
The-
ended
the-
up getting stored.
yeah, I guess,
The tent would be back at her house.
I was thinking to
I
pick a
thought she
tent.
owned it.
She does.
Yeah,
I
so it
believe
must be at her
It's got the
house.
nice panels
Yeah.
and all on it. And then
Yeah,
the
and-
banners, are they in your car, Jim? You have them, oh, we stored them over at your place, that's right. Okay, because the banners were nice, the tent.
Yeah, the tent and the table.
coolers,
I've got the
coolers.
cover, I think you've seen instead of having a banner, we've got a cover that goes on the table.
Oh,
that
yeah,
says
yeah.
senior-
Yeah,
And
That's
these,
nice.
Oh, that was
um,
nice, that was,
yeah, I think that'll be easier than try to put up the banner and take that down.
mhm.
I may try to find some, things to display, whether it's the house numbers or the double-sided tape and things like that from the home fit guide.
Mm.
If you have all your teeth, it's a lot easier. For the home fit guide. And then we should be ready for Old Home Day. Valerie was working on having a survey form for both the expo and Old Home Day.
Did you see the one I sent you that I found
Yes,
from
I-
Kathy's
I
stuff? It was
think-
very
I think-
simplified.
Yeah, I've got, oh, these are the copies that they made for me. For the, this is the survey from before.
Is this the one I sent you? Yeah, Kathy
Yes.
Blatch.
Yep. And it's Elder Affairs.
Is there only one page?
Yeah.
Stone fingers. Okay. Got one more.
Thank you.
I like this format.
It's simple.
Well, it's simple and also, you know, we had some kind of general questions before. You know, do you need transportation and the rest of that, but there wasn't anything that I'd call actionable intelligence that you could try and do something about. So this, I like this format. We might be able to add a question or two. But I don't wanna have, I should actually ask the group. I think we should try and limit the number of questions to a few that we can do something with, rather than a lot that we won't know what to do with.
I think we should take a look at, there's a, in the, master plan, for the township, there's a extensive, survey, and there's a section in there that covers transportation. And it might be a good idea, if we're gonna do something like this, is to use the same survey. Because for a survey to be good, you have to have a lot of responses. The only way we can get responses for that particular survey may be better. Now, that all being said, we probably should talk to somebody that's working on that plan if they agree with that concept.
So you have
Okay.
copies of that survey?
That
That's-
survey,
You're
Yeah.
talking about the 20-year plan or whatever?
there's a master
The CIP
Master
plan that was
plan?
just put out.
master plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't have one with me.
That's
I
extremely
I've
involved.
got the wrong car. So. But anyway, I think that would be an idea that would help get more surveys in, maybe. I don't know.
This is geared right just to transportation, right? I
That's
don't,
what I noticed, it was just transportation.
I don't like the word elder affairs. I don't think people are gonna,
No, I picked up on that right away.
yeah.
No.
It would be the
That's
senior
what we-
resource
well,
committee
that's what we used to
survey.
be
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
years ago.
It just, I think it's
That's why we
harsh.
changed it, because
It's-
it was harsh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that came across today, I don't wanna come back to this, but it may be relevant to this. You're familiar with fog lines?
It's the white painted line on the road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but are some of those like fluorescent or whatever, or how, is there much different? Because
It's the standard white road, the standard white marking on the road is considered a fog line.
The lines on the road
That's what
have
they're
a
called.
reflective
The
paint
white
in
line,
them.
Yeah,
They're painted with a reflection in them,
it's
but
thick, it's,
yeah, the reason I bring that up, I was talking to somebody about transportation today. It was actually Sylvia Von Locke. And one of the things she mentioned to me is that seniors, okay, as they get older, okay, and only have the ability to drive a car, there's more and more dependence when they're driving at night for those lines. And one of the things she mentioned to me, that would be a good thing to do. Get more of the roads, would put the white lines on them eventually, so. And I think she's right, because I was coming down, I think it's 3A between Concord and Hooksett along the river. This was probably a year or two ago, and I had the white line, but I'm really tooling along right at night. And all of a sudden, there were no more white lines.
the fog line was gone.
It's gone,
Yeah.
right? And when you're there working, you know, all of a sudden, you don't even know where the road is, you know? So, But eyesight problems and so on,
Yeah.
that is something,
That's why it's there now, it's when there's reduced visibility, you
Yeah.
utilize the white fog line.
yeah.
So to your point about, yeah, if your vision begins
I-
to impair, the fog line makes sense as a point of reference. for
I
that.
guess I'd like to comment too. It's not just the visibility, it's the wearing of the white line
Sure.
off. And we're not talking to town, this is a state thing
Oh, yeah.
that
Yeah.
does the thing. I noticed when I was in Florida, I could not believe how much better the white lines were, and I had no problem going anywhere
They
at
don't
night.
plow the roads in Florida.
That's the
And the
thing.
answer I
Yeah.
got was, they don't plow snow.
And they don't put sand.
It lasts
Sand and
longer.
the salt
Yeah.
erodes the
But-
paint, that's the problem.
It
We're,
was-
we're essentially putting sandpaper
Yeah.
across these lines.
But I
now.
was going on roads that I was
Yeah.
totally unfamiliar with, had no knowledge of,
Yeah.
and I had no problems because the white lines were so
Over
good.
there, yeah.
So I don't know if we can come up with something else for our white lines to be made of that doesn't wear so much.
We would need, the director of
Yeah, I've
the
got, I,
Public
Yeah.
Works. and
I've got
DPW.
a roadway
You're not-
engineer.
Th- this
John
does go right
Schwager
along
and-
with
or
what
Dave
John's
Wally would
talking
be,
about.
It certainly does, and I can tell you what I can do is, we have 2 seats on the traffic safety committee, and I think that's a discussion that committee,
That
that's
would be
well
great,
housed within
yeah.
that committee.
Yeah.
So what I can do is I can bring that as a concern that we raised here at our committee meeting,
Yeah.
and I'll share it with, in this case, the deputy chief, because he sits on the traffic safety committee.
Bring it up too to Fred.
Yeah, and to be honest, with you, they'd much rather talk about this than stop signs and speed reductions, you know what I mean, so.
Okay,
Going years back, the problem with this, okay, going years back, and John will probably remember this, there was a specific road or two in town, we put lines on it, and the neighborhood had a fit
Yeah,
about the lines because, you know, we're not a city and all, you know,
sure.
so,
Yep.
you know.
To be honest, with you,
lines are
I fully
acceptable.
expect that, because it's London area, I'm gonna have some people that say I want the lines, and I'm gonna have some people say, no, I don't want the lines, because it takes away that small town feel.
But I think to your
It's-
point,
We can't win.
I never heard that. It's
but I
crazy.
think to your point, any of the major roads in town,
Ought
right?
to
We're
have-
not talking about deep in neighborhoods, but any of the major roads in town ought to have those.
Especially anything where you're gonna be driving at, let's say, a relatively significant speed, you know, any of the roads that are, say, 35 and over. Yeah, those probably ought to have a fog line, given your speed, giving reduced visibility potential, whether it's the fog or you said someone just their own vision reducing.
I've always
Doesn't
relied
the
on
street in
those.
front of the
Yeah.
senior center now have lines on both sides?
Oh, yeah,
down the
and
center?
stop
And
signs.
plenty of
Yeah,
stop
lines and
signs.
stop
Yeah.
signs,
Yeah.
let me tell you.
Yeah.
Heard about
As
it.
the revenue
That's a-
increases, that's happened.
So here's the thing, too. We don't get revenue for that, so there's no quotas, the police department does not receive revenue when it comes to that stuff, so, we didn't advocate for these stop signs, unfortunately, people look to us and they think that we're putting the stop signs in, we just did an informational post on it, for example, on social media, and people thought it's like, well, why don't you put a stop sign here? We don't put stop signs anywhere. We simply educate drivers when of the
We
importance of the
enforce their
stop sign, and we
existence.
enforce it in an attempt to change behavior. In terms of revenue and stuff like that, the town does not receive revenue for traffic violations.
For tickets?
Correct.
Where's
There's
she
a
going?
Oh, I
small,
always thought they did.
there's a small fee when someone writes a ticket, it's called the penalty assessment. Those monies historically went to funding the police academy, New Hampshire Police Standards and Training. However, what you
So
find.
you still kinda get it.
So no, so what they did is, it didn't fund, there wasn't enough to fund it. So what happened is New Hampshire Police Standards actually got, a couple of years ago, got put into like an actual budget line to fund it. What happens, police officers are human. So when 2007, 2008 happens, the economy, there's a recession, well, police feel that too. So they're not writing tickets. They know when I stop that driver, the last thing I wanna do is write them back then a $64 ticket for something, because they can't afford it, because the officer themselves know,
wow.
I can't afford it, so they're not writing that ticket. So when you tie certain things to a penalty assessment fund, it's dependent on officers writing tickets. We don't want officers to write tickets. The purpose of motor vehicle stops is to change the behavior. It's not to punish the violation. So if I can talk to a kid and say, you know, he shows contrition, hey, I'm not gonna do this again, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not writing that kid a ticket. If I have someone who I look has a history of doing that, yeah, I might write them a ticket to change the behavior. It's not to fund the New Hampshire Police Standards Training, and what we found is the state couldn't write enough tickets to fund it. It doesn't work that way.
Oh, wow, that's very.
I always thought
That's
that,
super
that
interesting.
Yeah.
when
You thought the
the,
dispatch
So,
service.
if you guys look at the root of the problem, say across the country, there are places that do that.
Okay.
And then what we have is we have disproportionate treatment of certain folks in certain areas, and, you know, it's tied to that, and it
So
just
when
becomes
someone
a
gets a
revenue.
ticket in New
My mind.
Hampshire, it does not go to the
No, it does not.
police station?
No,
In any town, Tim, in the state of New Hampshire, would you say?
So
that?
where did you say
Yeah.
it goes now?
so it used to go, the penalty assessment fund used to fund New Hampshire police standards and training. I think a portion of it still does,
Yeah.
but we don't write enough tickets across the state to actually fund it.
To just go to
So
state.
people
So
fight
go to
the
the
ticket,
state
you're taking, you have to appear at the court hearing.
You don't have to, you could obviously just plead a ticket. But what also happened is you'll find, I hate to tell, I'm not trying to hijack this conversation, but
No,
I
what
think
you
it's
also,
interesting.
what you also find is a prosecutor may say,
Loan us
I'm
speed.
gonna waive the penalty assessment, you give X donation to X local organization. So we saw that, so for example, Bedford PD was notorious, hey, you donate to the food kitchen.
that's the last ticket I
I
got was in
love
Bedford.
that.
So instead of,
25
so
years
now
ago.
no money goes to the state penalty assessment fund, cause the Bedford prosecutor said, it's my case, you donate to the food pantry.
I love that.
Yeah,
Oh,
so then the state
that's-
actually got mad at local
that's
PDs for
good.
diverting
Oh,
these
yeah.
funds
You
elsewhere.
guys aren't half
So-
bad.
No, go figure, huh?
So, and also, the rumor I've
you
heard
explain
is that,
that, though.
that I'm hijacking now.
Yeah.
Is there like a quota that you guys have to fill every month of how many tickets? See, I've heard that too.
We ask for proactive police things. I don't care if people stop and throw a football with kids.
Yeah.
They log that as a community contact
Yeah.
to me. That's just as
I would
important.
love
That's
that
just as
better.
important as a motor vehicle stop.
I love that.
And
Again, we enforce motor vehicle for different reasons. On a midnight, we're stopping
Safety.
cars because I'm looking for DWIs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On an afternoon like this, during, say, commuter time, I'm slowing cars down. Again, not to write tickets, just to make the commute
Yeah.
safer.
Yeah.
It's too bad you couldn't do away with that though, because I've heard that forever,
The quota?
the quota.
I've heard that, I mean, I've heard, when I was growing up in New York, that's what I heard all the
Right,
time.
right.
And I assumed it was like that throughout the police department, like,
Yeah.
they need to get a certain number of tickets a month so that because the money always, I thought the money always went to the police station.
Urban legend.
I know,
think
and
the
we're
town-
educating here.
Some states, they
Look at
might.
you debunking police.
Right, in some parts of the country though, we did see that.
Misinformation.
Yeah.
We did see that, you know what I mean? In some parts of the country, you do see that there are direct funding tied to the county government and stuff like that, so
Yeah.
they push that out.
Oh, that's interesting.
Given your white
I'm glad
line,
I'm not the
back
only
to the
one.
white line thing, my husband's Toyota Tacoma, which we got in the winter, we were driving somewhere, we usually take my car, all of a sudden his car keeps beeping, I'm like,
His
what is
lane
going on?
departure.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the lane departure thing,
The steering
but if the
shifts.
white line's not there,
No, it doesn't
it
work.
won't happen, right?
Because it senses the line
Oh, it's in
via the camera.
So if he goes over the yellow line or the
Or you
white
can
line.
just turn it off in the car.
Well, I thought it was
You can turn it
interesting, I
off.
thought it was interesting to see how many times
We're
it went over
talking
the
about
line.
ways to make it safe
I
for
would do
kids.
it a lot, no. But it's not, no, I'm kidding.
When you go to the driver ed thing at the
You'll
expo,
learn how to use
Yes.
that.
they will tell you that your car will tell you when you're going over the line with loud beeping.
I like my car now, I can hit a button, take my hands off the steering wheel.
Oh.
So I just
But-
bam.
More, it's too much,
I will
it's too
never
much.
do that. I
But
will-
for the point of conversation, I will bring the fog line concerns
Yeah,
to the PD,
Getting
because we
circling
sit on the traffic safety
we'll
committee.
double down on that, I'll bring it to the.
And that's actually a great,
assistant
it's a great suggestion. I'm all for it, yeah.
Okay, and just to finish the thing on the questions that are in the master plan that address the same thing, what types of services that you go to now, would you like to see delivered to you, or if you could no longer drive, which was medical, pharmacy, vet, bank, shopping, church, library, other.
What about the senior center?
You know-
Oh, there it is, it's the first one.
You know what a better thing to do? Excuse me, before we go to this. Why don't we, as someone from the senior committee, go to the committee that's doing the master plan and tell them that it'd be a good idea if they showed up at Whole Home Day with their survey material and hand it out.
And they very well could, the
They might be doing that
the
already.
planning
Yeah,
department.
I
Let them
don't,
do it. I
John,
mean,
that's
why
actually a good
steal their
idea,
thunder?
right?
You know, so let them.
well,
And do the tally and
Let's
all
not
of that.
duplicate the efforts.
So hey, we have a working group for Old Home Day Committee on Thursday. I can mention it to the town.
We could ask
Again,
for
I could bring it, say, from this committee to the Old Home Day Committee and just say, this is a recommendation by us.
Well,
And I'm
no,
sure
that's
Cheerson-
what the Old Home Day Committee is, the master planning committee.
No, I hear that, but the Old Home Day Committee is a town,
Yeah.
So
where the
they'll,
town reps can reach out to those folks and see if they can.
And
pull it in.
Shearson don't know exactly who to talk
and
to.
they'll know if the master plan's gonna have a table or anything like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
well, and
Well, they can get one.
Yeah, we,
That's right, yeah.
Get one for
Wait.
get the survey.
I guess I'm a little afraid of doubling up on the data. Because if they're gonna come out with their survey and ask basically the same question, then
Right.
there'll be a,
I'm
Duplication
suggesting we
of
don't do this at all.
The survey part, John?
Yeah, I suggest we don't do the survey on transportation, turn that over to the people that are responsible for doing it, the
okay,
transportation.
Does it
Right.
sound
They
like
have-
what's in
they
the
have a-
master plan is
it's in the
duplicating
master
this?
plan anyway.
Right.
I,
So then, so I don't know.
Read
if-
it?
Oh, what?
Have
No,
you
I
read-
have not.
Oh my
not
God,
seen
it's a lot,
I'm gonna make a suggestion then.
It might be too much.
it's very thorough.
Because I don't have much time to change anything, maybe I will not do a survey thing at Old Home Day. And let if the master plan people are gonna be there, they can do that because they've already got the questions. And we'll do our stuff.
I'm not a betting man, but I reasonably would bet that they already have anticipated the opportunity to get the
Are they
survey
gonna be there?
distributed
Do we know?
for
Oh, I'm
whole
sorry.
day. I can't imagine them passing that out.
don't
This
think
is
so,
rocket
but I could
science.
be wrong.
Yeah, it would be a
The
great
thing is-
opportunity.
Yeah, I'll just,
I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, I was
You're
gonna
gonna
do that,
do
you're texting her?
yeah, I'll just
Okay.
text you.
The, what do they
So
call
she
it?
might
The
be in
master plan
the,
people?
Yeah.
I,
She's at the mic
she's
thing.
at the mic meeting, so
Yeah,
she may
I
not
wanna
answer
go
right
there
away.
after this, so,
Okay.
yeah.
I would be surprised
It's like a
because
public
Town
forum.
manager.
The town open
they
house,
just
like-
sent out the draft a couple of weeks ago
From based off the warrant article,
on the master plan.
what is the?
They're still putting it
town
together.
manager?
They're still putting it together,
They're looking for feedback.
and I, you know, survey questions are. Sorry, one of the things I'm supposed to be is an organizational industrial psychologist. So how you organize the questions is very important in being able to tell the truthfulness of your answers. So I think they've got work to do before the survey goes out. It would be a great thing for them to be at the expo and at the Old
Great.
Home Day to let people know that this is going on. Because master plan is a big deal.
If we were to go with a survey, would it be more beneficial to create the survey on, say, like SurveyMonkey and then put a card with a QR code that you hand people instead of trying to get this back to them?
Cause seniors won't have
Yeah, they
access to a
won't,
computer,
no.
they need to,
You know,
I'd say 70% of seniors won't use a computer.
or a phone? I'm
Not
not in
for
touch
the
with the phone thing yet.
codes.
Okay,
Why don't we
Good
just
idea,
table
though.
this, because we have time to see if the master
Oh,
planning
yes,
committee
there-
can
there
deal
will.
with this. I'm
They will be there, Sharon?
Yes, they will be, yeah, the master
Okay.
plan committee will be there,
The next question will be, will they bring a survey?
perfect.
So invite them to the expo too, I have that.
Because if
Oh.
not, they're really.
and let's see,
We're fast.
now moving to the expo,
And you're gonna.
What is the expo date? Can I just remind
My
me?
birthday,
I don't.
my
I-
50th high school reunion,
I wish I
September
knew. I'm
21st.
sorry. Okay, I'm glad I
Wow.
had that in my phone, but
September
I'm sorry I didn't know that
You
date for
did-
your.
That's really,
the important
really
days of
exciting.
your
I'm
life.
missing, I'm missing my high school reunion
My
because of
apologies.
this.
that is the major advertising feature of it. Please come to the expo
And celebrate,
to
My
celebrate
68th birthday.
what is,
you mean 35.
No, I've earned every year.
Say Tim will explain it more on Thursday
Yeah,
night.
31st anniversary of being 29.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, for the expo,
Jim, I'm sorry, we might wanna step back to Old Home Day, do we have people
Because we don't.
manning the booths?
We haven't done that yet.
yes,
I think
We
that's,
haven't done that yet.
yes, I'm thinking, I was gonna put it on that beautiful board.
right,
I'll start out by saying I'll do what I did last year and the year before.
We
which
need
is take-
people for staffing, I'm thinking at, basic 2-hour increments, 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 2, 2 to 4,
I don't think we went 2 to 4, cause it's kinda
No, we
dwindling
did
down,
not.
I think
I
by
think we
2
stopped
we're
at 2
done.
o'clock, we
Yeah.
started to
2
break
we're
it down.
done.
I'll do,
Two's enough?
Yeah.
I'll do 12 to 2.
I did 12 to 2 last year also, so I'll do it.
I can help take down, cause I do the trolley, I'm on the parade. I can't do 10 to 12.
Can I just adjust the timeline to, we had a security meeting, most of the closures are gonna start at 10, so if we could have set up
Okay.
before 9:45 set up prior to,
Before that.
yeah.
Oh, the street closures?
Yeah, closures are probably gonna start around 10.
Cause if the library has a booth, are you saying 9:45 for everybody?
Yeah,
But
I'd
I
say,
think, I think last year people.
About 8 o'clock.
I know, we're
You
trying
put it
to,
out like last year I remember it was like, we need to be set up by 8 o'clock.
I know, we were there early.
yeah, so 9:45 was a discussion we had at the last security.
At
meeting.
the latest.
And that'll give us time to get
Around
things cleared out naturally.
Yeah, good, I think
If I say
even
10,
9
people are gonna
is
be setting up at
fine.
10, and then
Yeah,
they're gonna be
Yeah.
mad at me when I tell them they can't bring their car here or there.
yeah.
Are you still staging behind the fire station?
There's phase staging depending on what you have, how
Okay.
big your group is, or the nature of
Yeah.
your group.
And when's the parade start, at 10?
What's being staged back there? Is that
Depends, it's like the
Fire
bands.
the fire trucks?
VIPs,
Okay.
like political folks, they'll be at the fire station. So it really depends. The larger groups, so with like kids, will be at the middle school because we can get them
Because the
turned around, get
marching,
them out,
the
and drop
marching,
off with
yeah.
parents. So yeah, so depending on the nature of the group, they're staging in different areas. So if we could just, for our purposes here, set up before 9:45 or 9:45 a.m.
So Jimmy, you might wanna revisit who's gonna be there first thing in the morning to set up,
Yes.
'cause that's
Well,
an
and,
important one.
and the
For
night,
9,
actually the night before,
You don't have time.
Are they allowing the night before setup?
yeah, it depends, cause when the ground's wet, they don't allow it, hopefully it won't be. the
What's
way
that?
it's
They
been.
didn't allow the
They
night before
didn't,
the,
no, we got there like at 8, as I remember.
yeah, people
or
were getting there
something.
real early last
I
year.
don't think
'cause
we set up the night before.
We sent the guys down
Yeah,
early. so
I think a few years back they did, but not last year or the last couple,
Yeah.
yeah.
The parade's at 10?
Yes, yeah, so really, probably 9 if we're organized and ready to go.
yeah, because the parade's at 10-ish, right?
Yeah.
And nobody really, that 1 hour of the parade, nobody's at any of the booths.
Right.
I remember standing with you. We were like away and talking to people near the
Yeah,
parade.
trying to see
Yeah.
the parade a little, but
Well, let me, okay, let me get back to the expo for a second. Could we also talk to the building people and see if they could come to talk about, or be available to talk about ADUs
For
at
the
the
expo.
expo?
What building people?
The
building
town
department, yep, building
Yes,
department.
because there are town regulations on what you can do, what you need to do to do an ADU, right?
The additions, you mean? Yeah, the addition.
And I'm sure there are other things
Accessory
also.
building.
Yes, that's the word, accessory.
In-law apartments?
Yes,
Basically.
basically, yeah,
There's one going up on my street, oh my God, it's humongous.
it's,
Okay,
I would like to share something with you. It has more to do with the expo. Last week, Marion Garish had a speaker on aging in place, and it was a lady from Visiting Angels. So I went to hear her because I wanted to hear what she had to say. And her speech was really 2 parts. The first part was what Visiting Angels did, and the second part was what we could do in our homes and whatever. And I shared with her what Phil had shared with us. Before I joined this committee, I had no idea what the fire department did. I did not have a clue
Neither
in
do
how
I.
much they would
No,
do.
I don't.
And this I do.
I have a nice little pamphlet that you edited nicely for
And
me.
it
You
is
did very
totally
well.
amazing what they do. And people there were all my age and what they had no idea what the fire department does or anything like
good
that.
point.
So this lady, her name was Louise Chalmers, and she's a sales and marketing specialist from Visiting Angels. And I asked her if she would come and speak with this committee. And she
That's a
seemed
great-
very excited about the idea of it. I told her I would talk with you and everyone. I asked her if Visiting Angels were going to be at the expo, and she said yes.
Wonderful.
So I don't know if you would like her to come here to speak in addition to being at the expo, or whatever. And I asked her also, and she couldn't tell me, I said, I'm familiar with caregivers. same idea in my mind, the two committees and whatever. And I have some idea of what caregivers do, because my husband used to volunteer for them, but she didn't know. So then my brain gets thinking, you know,
They should be next to each other at the
yeah,
expo.
we've got, yeah,
Yeah.
but we need to know the difference too, and seniors need to know the difference, but I didn't even know what the fire department did, for heaven's sakes.
You know what's
Yeah,
so
And,
or how you can
That's why we need the
call for
resource
an
guide.
ambulance if you just need
Yeah.
assistance.
Which brings up the thing that I'm failing to do, is we had our list of people we were supposed to contact before that we handed out, and we're looking to fill in on Alona's list the contact information for people that we don't have contact information on.
So everybody got a section of, there's almost 50 that I haven't heard back from people or gotten.
That chart was
Applications for-
amazing that you did.
So I did send it out by email today, and if you didn't get the
Yeah.
email, I need to know your right email, because that's all, system's all messed up. Yeah, that.
That was really
What
nice.
you're talking about, Louise was supposed to speak at the senior center. Nobody signed up for it. I needed to cancel it. I was bullshit.
yeah.
And then they had the same activity, I think, at Marion Garrett. I'm trying to remember where it
Sure,
was.
that's the one I went to.
It was in the winter. It was a while ago.
Oh, well, this,
And they had to
Was there a lot
cancel
of
as
people
well.
when you went?
oh,
we
I
had no
would
one-
say
Curious.
15 maybe.
But folks do not want to go to things that discuss their future. And we need to somehow get people to do that. It's really tough. And I know she does excellent work, and I'd love
She
to
does.
see her.
She
Yeah,
does.
I agree
She
with you.
does. This is for you.
Okay, thank you.
So
the-
I told her that, if we didn't have her before then, that once again, for the third year in a row, I'm not here when you're doing the expo. So I can't talk with her, but
Now, you're gonna tell us this is a coincidence, right?
no, you pick between the 21st and the 28th. I could have come the 28th, but long before you planned this, I planned this trip to Greece.
Oh, you gotta go to the expo. You turn your trip into Greece for the expo. then.
You get her to turn in an,
We need to have a side
I don't think
conversation.
she's turned in, sorry, I didn't bring this with me.
That's
I don't
okay.
think she's turned in her application yet. If you can get her to do that, that would be awesome.
I think there would be value in having her come here. Lily,
I do
for-
too.
We used to have speakers, you know, from different groups,
We
Cindy
used to
from,
have-
and it was just great, and especially now where we're being
No, I don't think
televised.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay, but where we're being televised, I think it would, really, the word would get out to a lot of people.
So we want to do it like after, you
Everybody
could
said
talk with her
yes,
at the
was agreeing.
expo and.
What are we gonna do?
Yes,
Oh,
well,
that's because you can't.
Come here before.
Okay.
let me give you my
So
concern.
we can see
There's-
the little guys.
In addition to visiting angels,
Yes,
there's many other
exactly.
services that go into aging in place.
Yeah.
Even going back to the
Actually, I got
Home
a
Fit
confused word
Guide,
depth from here.
and
It's a different
there
depth,
are
same
hospice
kind of
services and other services
I
that
don't think
we're,
she said
we're
yes,
trying to bring
but not
into
the
this.
yes group.
And when you look at Alona's list,
Yeah.
well, there must be 120, 130.
There's over 170. Some are duplicated though, so like
Yeah.
community caregivers, they cover a couple different categories. Isaiah 58, who does housing.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
they're
there's twice at
very
least.
kind.
What's that?
I think I saw them at least twice, yeah.
Yeah, so there's some, so I'm gonna say we have like between 150 and 60 individual locations.
And like community caregivers is more of a full service thing that is
Once again, they were gonna come here and speak, that never happened either. We talked about that, so.
so.
Talking about Catholic Charities, community caregivers,
They're
or we're
two,
talking
no, they're
about
two
the one-
different places.
Yeah, or the one in Derry.
the
Community
one-
caregivers is Derry,
Yeah.
Cindy Trauma's group.
So,
The loaner's closet, all that,
yeah,
yeah.
I think we need to get through the Old Home Day first, then the expo, and then maybe
I
in
do
our
too.
future meetings, we can start having this 15-minute speakers, because again, when we're televised, we could really share the information, but we probably gotta get
It
Old
might
Home
be
Day.
beneficial, which is what I try to get my friends group to do, is like look at a calendar a year and kind of set those people up ahead of time So like, okay, like, cause we know that around this time, it's all about the senior expo and the old home days. So, but there are other times a year, like in the fall and in the winter, where we have potentially some
opportunity,
downtime
yeah.
where they, so if we can set them up now, connect with them at these locations and be like, listen, we're looking at, October, whatever date, would you be able to come and speak at our meeting and set them up now and connect with them now and look at the full calendar and see, like, kind of tackle things by month or whatever that looks
That's
like?
what I try to do at least twice a month,
Yeah.
working in the future, and then things like this get canceled because no one signs up. But if we throw a wider net on the whole senior population, not just the senior center, that might work.
Yes.
I also have a meeting tomorrow with Lisa Bernard from the Y, and we're trying to crisscross some of our activities too.
So what do we need for Old Home Day though? Cause that's, we're weak. Right now, we only have 2
I
people signed
think-
up.
As long as we end up with a tent, table, and at least 2 chairs, I'll bring my little walker, so I've got a chair with me wherever I go.
You're gonna be there at 9, you think, Jim? Like you're gonna be you're gonna be there originally in the morning to set up, you're thinking?
Yes, I'm thinking to try and stay in the area all day.
Okay, so
nobody
setup
needs
time
to
9,
sort of-
you think? You think 9 setup time, or we were there, it seemed early, I think like Tim's giving us until, maybe not, or you think 9's too late?
I might wanna go a little bit earlier
8:30,
because
yeah.
Light doesn't get.
if we run into a
You're
problem,
right,
Yeah.
You're
then
right.
we won't be able to finish
yeah, you're right. 8:30?
at
8:30, so you're gonna be there.
Yeah.
And who else is gonna be with
I'll
you?
be here, it's like
The
I
2 of
always
you,
have.
and I'll probably float,
Yeah.
so, okay, so we've got John and Jim for sure.
And I have a sign that you want it, but it's going on the trolley.
Yep, that's okay, but you've got something for the table now, so
Oh,
we're,
okay.
Yeah, you've
Yep.
got the band.
yep, so 9, and then, you're gonna, are you, John, 2 gonna be there for most of the morning, you're thinking, is that what you're?
Definitely do the 10, but last year I stayed till lunchtime.
That's right, okay,
I'll
anyone
probably
else as
10.
far as,
On the 10th.
Elizabeth's gonna come on
Yes,
at
that's true.
12, yeah.
I can come earlier, Sherry, if you need
Yeah?
someone, yeah.
Okay, so because, well, as long as you 2 are there, and then if you both wanna kind of, like, even if you decide to come a little earlier for relief.
I'll be there for the parade, I'm sure.
Right,
so
that's
I
like,
mean-
yeah, perfect, right,
Level
yeah.
3.
Yeah.
As long as you 2 don't mind manning it, so we have someone there, and then we'll make sure, like, my John will be there to help set up if we need it, he'll be roaming or doing other things, so I know police and fire will help us too if we need anything.
I've seen your John at all the concerts on Wednesday night, but I haven't seen you.
I missed last week.
Oh, you did?
I did, yes, yeah, but, and I think I'm gonna miss tomorrow night,
We've
but the
lucked out
following
with
week is
weather
Chicago.
though. We've lucked out
Oh,
with
the
weather.
weather's been phenomenal.
I mean, I know it was warm, but last time, but when I did it, it was
People
very.
are saying it's warm, but I've been to most of the concerts, and you get there and you're under the tree and
Yeah,
the wind blows.
it's
It
very
is a
nice.
nice little
You know
breeze.
too, you've been there. It's
Yeah.
totally comfortable.
Yeah. It's been
Is it the real
really-
Chicago?
Yeah, right. I wish.
Last
I
week
know,
was
but-
phenomenal. We had 750 people.
Can you
Probably had 200 people up dancing. There was
That's what
a
John
group called
said.
Couch
Oh.
out of Boston. They were wonderful,
Oh my gosh.
just wonderful.
That's great.
Boy.
Okay.
Sorry, off topic.
But I'll be there with you next
It's hard not to talk about it. It's right now.
tomorrow night. All right, so it looks like
I
we can
just
at
wanna
least get set
talk
up
for a
and all
minute
set.
about the transportation thing.
Yes.
I wanna talk for a minute because I don't have any new information.
Well, I have a fair amount of information, I'll try to do it quick, okay? I guess it was last week or week before last, I met with the town manager and explained to him the concept of the $5 fee and so forth. And he thought that was a no-brainer, okay? So then I said, well, the thing, we need to get this done, we can get some help from the Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission and probably the mobility manager for transportation in this area. And I said, but the town really has to ask for it, okay? We can't, like this committee can, the town has to ask for that. So he said, whatever you want, whatever, I'll do that. So all that is, pretty good, good, so we get some attention. Today, I met with, Sylvia Von Locke, who is at New Hampshire Planning Commission, and I told her what we were contemplating trying to do. And, she's going to, give some thought about how to approach the problem. She's also going to go back and look at the transportation study that's in the master plan and say, if we were doing this for this specific project, is there anything that we would put into that questionnaire? Okay, so she's gonna actually look at see if she wants to modify the questionnaire. So that's kinda, where we are. So the next step is, to just figure out what the process is and get some people, in the town government on board with this to actually help drive it. So I think that's
Well, that's-
pretty good.
And we
That's
also
good.
have agreement from Meals on Wheels to distribute any surveys. We have agreement from Meals on Wheels to distribute any surveys to their clients who are homebound for the most part.
Yeah,
Uh,
so,
And I'm sorry, before we go, I have one thing that I've gotta do for my boss.
Is that Linda?
You've got a great boss.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. There's a proposal to move our meetings from the second Tuesday to the fourth Tuesday, so that some people on the committee would like to be part of the
Historic.
Historical Society that meets at the same time. And the fourth would bring us, as long as we're going meeting once a month, I don't see that the particular,
Tuesday
week of the month
Tuesday, right,
counts
I
that
agree.
much. Also, when Kirsten let me know that if it's the fourth, she can come to this meeting also.
Oh, boy.
That might, smooth a lot of things with the town, so is,
I think that's a phenomenal.
Yes,
idea.
if the room's available,
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
or whatever,
fourth
if we have a
Tuesday.
place.
yeah.
We could even do it at the senior center. I don't have anything going on Tuesdays there at
Okay.
night.
I think this room will be available, but we'd have to check for sure, certainly.
So the 4th instead of the 3rd Tuesday.
Yes.
Oh,
Does that,
Is this
now
the
I'm
third?
no, this is
proposing
the,
to
this
do
is
this,
the third,
This
yeah,
is
this
the
is the third.
Tuesday.
Yeah, right,
Cause he
right.
said second, so I wanted to.
Yeah, now I'm all
Thank you, I
confused.
wrote down
I didn't
second.
realize it was the
Did you
third.
really?
But then I texted you,
It's
because I
the-
thought it was the
okay.
No,
third.
it's the
I wasn't
third.
doing my counting very well. Yeah.
Let's do the fifth, let's do the fifth one.
um,
That only
We
happens
all
every now and
agree?
again.
Does that work? Do you
yes,
need a motion?
I'm proposing that we do that
Starting what meeting?
after the expo, so September,
November.
October?
So October's fourth Tuesday is the 22nd. Everybody's okay with?
October 22nd? No, is it really the fourth?
Is that the first October
Wow.
22nd of the
Yes.
It's the
month?
fourth Tuesday.
That's because there's 5 Tuesdays
Oh,
in
thank
October.
you, okay.
That's the one.
As long as it doesn't conflict with Halloween, it'll be fine.
Yes.
We'll have
And the
it,
time is still the same at 6?
October 20th, we're having, because I'll be in Key West the week
6.
before that. October 20th, we're having,
No need to brag.
I'll be in Key West for my
Key
20th time.
I know,
It's gonna be
please.
too hot. It's hotter here than it is
Oh,
there.
I'm so sorry for you.
Shut up. We're having now I'm all blanked out. On the 20th, we're gonna have
Sorry.
our jam session at the senior center, a Sunday as a Halloween theme.
Oh, fun.
Okay.
Well,
So back to October 22nd. Is it still at 6? The meeting would still
Yep.
start at 6? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Okay,
Yep.
So then after that, it's always going to be the 4th Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay.
let me, just finish off too, where we're talking, to finish off.
Can I just say something? Do you want it 4th or 2nd Tuesday? Think about Thanksgiving, think about Christmas, how much we're gonna be possibly conflicting over the years with them. And I have that problem
I'm trying to
with other
remember,
things.
there is another organization that's here on the second Tuesday.
Yeah, I think that if because we had that issue, we're having that issue with like trustee meetings. If we looked into having them here and it was an issue with conflicting with other
'Cause
meetings.
I think 4th might be a problem. What about 1st Tuesday?
We ought to make certain we don't hit any of what I would describe the bigger meetings, which would be planning board meeting, town council meeting,
And that's on the,
Well, they're
spring- that's on the
Monday.
spring.
Mondays.
Council's
We wanna miss all
Monday.
Do we
of
wanna
those.
run it by Cheerston and see what, like, our options are?
Yeah.
Do we
When
know
is
the
Yeah,
availability?
when is the historical
have to
day?
be on
What
a Tuesday.
What
Yeah, that's true.
Tuesday is
That's a valid point,
historical,
too.
John? I mean, Jim,
Yeah.
what
I'm
Tuesday
locking
is
in Tuesday,
historical?
October 20th.
I just put the
This
next
thing-
two meetings before we make.
Right now, they're the third Tuesday,
So,
'cause
okay, so we could go the first, or, yeah, or
Yeah.
the second.
And why do we have to do Tuesday?
Only, I think,
Habit.
let me,
that's.
Mondays and Fridays are always
Should we
a challenge.
table this until we do a little more,
okay,
Well,
Yeah,
Because we don't have to decide right now.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
cause we love
Right.
the idea, we just have to
Jim,
get,
the
talk to
idea is
Kirsten.
excellent, let's do a little more
Yeah.
research and we'll
Yeah.
come up with a better
Yes,
day other
share
than the
with
third
what's-
Tuesday of the month.
Merry-
That is a
Merry
comfortable,
Christmas.
that's a comfortable thought.
Yeah.
So we gotta talk to
My union
Kirsten.
president.
We'll circle back.
And if you get in your trouble, we'll tell your wife that we discussed it.
There you go, exactly.
We will all stand up and
But I
support
do
you.
love her idea because I was once part of that.
It's so hard, because
Oh, you were
when you
part
wanna
of
go to
historical?
multiple
Yeah,
things,
and I got
it's so
assigned to this.
challenging.
Oh, cause
That's-
Deb and I really wanna, join the historical, that's
anything that is
part
not done is not is a failure.
of, no, I think that's
Uh,
wonderful.
And a motion to adjourn is always in order,
I make a motion.
Motion.
in favor?
Alright.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
And to all a good night.